You're watching Through the Looking Glass with Dr. Ginny Klein.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ginny Klein, and I've missed you, so I'm back with a new show for us all. It's about our feelings, fears, and fantasies, our pain and our pleasure, our problems and our solutions. It's a time for us to get together, think things over, talk things over, and find out that we are not alone. Perhaps then we can all help each other make this world and our lives just a little bit better. Did you ever ask a question and wonder why people don't hear or use what the answers are? Let's take a closer look at just that issue. Barbara, hi.
Hi, I'm a little frustrated, so please forgive me. Really
I don't
angry.
have to forgive you. You
No.
have every right to feel frustrated. What are you frustrated about?
I don't know. I'm not even sure anymore. I went to a doctor's office this week, and I really have the best blood pressure. You know, it's like usually a 90 over 70. And the doctor told me my blood pressure was 155. 155 over, I forget what it was. I'm just like so distressed about it, and I'm distressed that my blood pressure is so high, which of course is making my blood pressure go higher. So I have to figure out what I'm so aggravated about. I really don't know what's going on that's making my blood
What
pressure
happened
go up.
before you went to the doctor? Okay, well, there it is. What is it that pushed it up?
I went to a meeting, which I typically go to. It's part of this group I'm part of. And I had all my notes prepared. Knew it was going to be a very busy meeting. Had all my notes prepared, all my concerns prepared, all my points of discussion prepared. And the meeting was so difficult to sit through.
Why?
People were talking, having side conversations. The efficiency of it.
Did you
was
ever get
annoying.
to put out the issues you
Well,
that
they had
you
asked
prepared?
me to prepare all this stuff.
Oh, they asked you a
and-
question.
Yep, they asked me
Many questions.
questions. I had it all organized so I could speak to it.
Responsible.
And then
Did they
don't
hear
listen. No one's listening.
it? Did they use
So
the answers?
aggravated. I'm not even sure, to be honest.
They didn't
with you.
hear them, right?
I don't know. I don't know whether they heard it. I don't know what they heard. Then we had this conversation about something that I had to understand, and I had questions. My questions were not answered, and it was the most frustrating.
Sounds like nobody was...
Yeah, a lot of cross-talking.
Yeah, and nobody heard each other, and nobody answered each other. You tried to, probably.
And then, it was so fascinating. I would say something that I was asked. I had no idea whether people heard me or not. Then 5 minutes later, I'm hearing someone say precisely what I thought I had said.
Yeah, but they didn't
It
hear you
was-
say it. They said it themselves. They repeated it.
Right. So I don't know whether they were agreeing with me, disagreeing with me. It was literally, and I don't want to curse. I don't want to curse. I've given it up. I'm
Really?
trying really
Even
hard.
when you're alone?
Nah, I got to be honest. Then I break my rule. But
Well, you have to dump some of the anger somewhere, so
So
it's important when you're
annoying.
alone.
so annoying. And then I start to say, what am I working so hard for? Why am I doing this work?
You take these questions very seriously because
Very
you prepared.
seriously.
You said you prepared all the answers and organized
That I
all
had.
the information that you had, of course. Sometimes a question, very often a question is not a sincere question. It's a statement. In other words, I can say, let's say I love a particular restaurant, and I say to you, do you know any Italian restaurants in this town?
Yeah, and I would say, well, let me tell you about the ones I do know, or if I didn't know, I'd be happy to look it up for you.
Yeah, well, that's who you are. That's the same way that they asked you a question. You came to the meeting prepared with all the answers. Fine.
Right.
But I have an axe to grind with my question because I don't really care if you know what the Italian restaurants are in town.
Really?
Because I want to push my friend Antonio's restaurant.
Oh.
And my question is a bogus question. Because no matter what you do, the research, and you send me a list, I'll say, didn't you see Antonio's? It wasn't an honest question. It's a bogus question.
That?
Well, obviously, that's what you
experiencing.
That's what you're experiencing, honey.
That stinks.
They ask you a question. We'd like to know what the statistics are on this, that, and the other thing. So you go home, break your neck, and bring it in. Nobody listens. What was the purpose of the question? Showing you that, saying to you, you should get that information for me, and we would like to know, why didn't you look it up? Why are you asking someone else to do it? Because you need it for a report, because you're not really interested? Why are they not responding to your questions? Sometimes a question isn't really a question. It's serving some other purpose to the person.
Oh my God, I would never think of that.
You don't do that.
If someone asks me a question and I have the information, I would never hoard it. I would share it. Or if someone asks me a question...
You have to find a better group, honey.
You think it's the group?
Well, obviously, if you're having a repeated, is there anyone in the group that does listen to your question and use the information?
I just find the meetings to be so disjointed, and
everyone comes
got their
in
own
with
agenda.
their own agenda. Exactly. We're thinking the same word at the same time.
Okay.
Am I answering your question?
I just feel like I've been hit by some thought that it didn't ever occur to me.
Well, you take things as they are. If I ask you a question, you'll go get the information. I mean, the fact is, that's very nice.
Well, we're
and straight.
trying to solve
But
problems.
the questions aren't always sincere questions. Sometimes they're questions that I put out there because I want to engage you, because I have an answer already, because I want to sell Antonio's restaurant. So I ask you, do you know the Italian restaurants in town? You give them a list. They're not interested. I'm just saying, do you know where to go? I'll tell you where to go. That wasn't a real question.
Right. So why wouldn't someone just say, I know a good Italian restaurant, let's try it? Why do they have to assert? Explain to me, though, why someone wouldn't do it that way. Because I can't see that at all.
Because you don't do that.
I don't do that. It seems disingenuous.
Yeah, you would do that. If you knew Antonio's, you'd say,
let's go
this
try
restaurant
it.
is fantastic. But you wouldn't take something you had to say and put it in a question to pull someone into the issue so that you can push something else when you weren't really interested.
That's correct.
In getting an answer to the question.
That's correct. So why would someone do that? What's it do for them?
It does different things for different people according to what's going on in their mind. If everyone's missing each other, well...
Why wouldn't someone... How would it make them feel
Maybe I have
good?
something in my mind. I go to a meeting. I'm supposed to perform as a part of the group. And I'm not interested because I have something else on my mind. I have some other agenda in my mind. And so people are talking and they ask, and you put out a question which is really not a sincere question, and you get an answer and you ignore it because I'm not really there. I'm not really there to interact. You and me are interacting. You're answering a question and I'm answering you, right? I'm going to ignore that phone. I'm sorry that interrupts.
It's not a problem. I think I turned mine off.
Sometimes I forget to do that.
I know, it's ridiculous. This technology, it's constantly a source of interruption in life.
I apologize. 4 rings and it's over.
It's okay. It doesn't bother me that much. I feel calmer knowing it's... I feel like I understand that I'm going against a wave that I have no control over. That's what you're telling
right.
me.
You have no control over it. So
I thought I wasn't being clear enough, or
Oh, so you're
couldn't
putting it on yourself.
Oh yeah, I didn't understand. I was like, didn't you ask me these questions? Didn't I
Yeah,
research
but it never occurred to you they weren't sincere questions. So you had a sincere effort to answer them, and you put in a lot of work to organize your answers, and then nobody was interested.
Right.
You know, sometimes if I ask you a question and I say, and I'm really thinking about the scarves I have to give away to the Salvation Army, and I'm looking at your scarf right now, you know, Barbara, and I say, oh, where did you get that nice scarf? And I'm just thinking of how many scarves can I give away? Oh, but the scarf reminds me I have to give it away. And say, oh, that's a nice scarf. And where'd you get it? And I'm just being polite. But I'm really thinking of something else. And you say, oh, well, if you go down here and you go to that boutique and you go this and you go that. And I completely ignore it because it wasn't a sincere question.
Interested. I see.
If the scarf was triggering something I have to do and it wasn't an honest question, I was just being, oh, I see you have a nice scarf. It doesn't mean anything. And you want to be helpful, and I don't hear you, and I don't use your answer. I got something else on my mind, you know?
I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I do. I really do understand that. It's kind of Machiavellian, though, to me. It seems so, like I said, disingenuous, that someone would ask you something and have an ulterior motive.
Sometimes they're not even aware of it.
You're kidding.
They sound good because they're in a meeting and they want to ask an intelligent question and look good. They're not really aware that they don't care.
I see.
That someone's going to go do a lot of work and they're not even going to be interested.
Right.
That people are not aware of their own motives sometimes. They want to ask a question because they want to contribute something, want to be outspoken in the meeting, and they say, oh, you know, could someone look up the statistics for the just to sound good. I mean, who knows? If it's an honest question, they will give you an honest response to what you do.
I see.
But sometimes we just want to be heard. And we don't have anything to say, so we ask a question. Does anybody know about so-and-so and how this thing is working? Well, I go and can look it up. I'm showing I'm interested, but am I really interested? Or I just want to say something. I don't. You know. But if they don't respond, next time you see that person ask a question, don't go home and break your neck on it.
Right. Why do all that work?
Well, that's right, because you assume a question means I'm a very responsible person, I'm going to go get them the answer.
Yes, I assumed we were all working to come up with a plan, and I did my part of it. And
that's how you think.
Yeah, I do.
Somebody may go to the meeting just to kind of go to the meeting and look like they know what they're interested in and say something, of course, when someone else is going to do the work. You know, someone that comes to the meeting and says, listen, somebody asked a question last week and I have some answers, then you see that's a kind of person like you are. That person's question you can trust.
Yeah. Wow. That's scary.
Yeah. And tell me something, when you were a kid. Oh, well, that got a big sigh. Or was it from the other thing? When you were a kid, did anybody ever ask you a question and not listen to you?
I just think it's my life.
When you were a kid, did anyone
that.
ask you a question and not be interested in the answer?
Oh, God. They just didn't pay attention to what I had to say, even if they asked me a question, I guess. It just seems like...
But if you...
Maybe that's how I used to get attention. I don't know. I'm kind of like confused about what you're asking me. Like in my house,
yeah,
my mother seemed rather confused about things. And to me it was like, well, if you're confused about something or you don't know something, then you just research it. So you can find the answers. Because there are answers out there. You don't know everything, right? So I spend a lot of time making sure that if someone asks me a question,
like your mother,
like my mom,
yeah,
then I find the answer.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, okay. So, and did your mother listen to your answers?
I'm not sure.
Did you ever get a feeling of, oh, thank you, honey,
Never.
that was so helpful?
Never.
So did they ever go and take the answers and apply it, your mother? Did your mother use it? Did she just put out a question because she didn't know? And
She
when
just seemed confused a lot.
yeah, in other words, did she use the answers you got?
Didn't seem like it in particular.
And you never could figure that out? Did you ever think you didn't do it good enough, organized enough?
No, I just got really freaking tired
Of doing it,
doing it
and
for
for
no
nothing.
purpose.
Isn't
But
this
then
the same as the meeting?
Yeah, it is
Same
the same.
feeling.
It is the same feeling.
Feeling of frustration.
Of frustration.
You ask me something, I get the answer very sincerely, I prepare it all, and nobody's interested in using it or hearing it.
I don't
both.
even know if both. It's both. It's both. I'm just
And
like,
you had the same thing with your mother.
yeah.
She
Yeah.
put out a question, you want to be mother's helper, and you found the answer. I don't know what to do, what kind of
Listen, I thought
spaghetti.
it would be helpful.
And you came back with, Mom, there were 3 kinds. You know what I mean? I looked it up, or whatever, and she just ignored it.
I'm just so grateful when I have a problem with something. I'm not the best. I don't understand certain things as well, and I learn better by seeing something than reading about it. So I'm always so grateful if someone will take 5 minutes of their time and explain something to me.
Yeah.
And I would never bother someone with a question. I feel like it's a bother. If I say to you, oh, where did you get that? Because I want to go get that. And then I don't listen to your answer. It seems bizarre, frankly.
Well, that's not your style. That's not what you do.
Right. And I guess I don't have to judge other people's
But your mother
styles.
was confused about a lot of things, and she'd put questions out there, but she wouldn't really listen or apply the answer either.
No,
Right?
just stayed in a circle of chaos.
And then when you walk into a meeting, you know what that triggers inside you?
I went so organized this time because I wanted to have everything organized for me.
And if you had it perfectly organized, your mother would have heard it and used it.
guess.
And right? I guess a little kid thinks, gee, Mommy, I got the information, but Mommy didn't use it. Something wrong with what I gave her?
Last meeting I went to, I didn't organize my answers effectively to have them, and I thought that's why.
You took all the responsibility on you.
Right. So this time I thought I'll feel very organized and.
If I had a good
listen.
enough answer, then Mommy would have done it. No, hon. She was just putting out a question, and she dismissed it. But when you knock your brains out and come up with an answer, she didn't use it. And that's why you're going to think, oh, I did something wrong. I didn't organize it well enough. That's why they're not doing that. No.
It's really remarkable.
It is really remarkable. But there are people that will ask you an honest question and use your answers and listen to your answers.
You know, I've been mentoring this person at work, and I want to establish a regular meeting time with them that's convenient for me. Because she has lots of questions, and of course, I love answering questions.
Certainly.
Right.
The eternal
Helper.
kid who wants to help Mom.
Oh, yeah, I'm such a loser sometimes.
Oh,
I
wait a
swear.
minute. You're not a loser. You're not the loser.
Same
You
old
do
chap.
things well, and you're responsible.
You think so?
Well, you just
I feel like I'm
described yourself.
getting taken advantage of all the time.
Well, but you're responsible, and who takes advantages of you means they're not responsible, not that you're not
me.
responsible.
Well, that's kind, I suppose.
That's true.
Have to give that some thought. But this woman is calling me, and
The
now,
mentor, the one you're mentoring.
right. So now, I'm getting emails and phone calls whenever she has an issue, and she wants to know if she can email me, and I can respond immediately anytime anything comes up. And this is not working for me. Number one, my time is my time, and I'm more than willing to put aside time for her to
But
be
not
mentored,
immediately.
but not whenever she wants it.
Well, what did you do when your mother asked you whenever she wanted it? Didn't you have to answer? Didn't you have to hurry up and
Well,
help
yes,
your
if
mother?
you didn't assist your mother, you would get in trouble with your dad.
In other words, if you say you can't get an immediate answer from me, then you're being a bad girl to this person you're mentoring,
You know,
to your mother.
That's right. Yeah, I guess I'm confusing the two is what you're suggesting.
Well, your mind puts the two issues together, and the feeling that you're a bad girl if you're not going to answer your mother immediately, that or take care of your mother's issues immediately, that immediately comes over to this thing. And intellectually, you say, this is unreasonable. I don't want to answer
Well,
it
it is
immediately.
unreasonable.
But the other part says, bad. From yesterday.
Okay.
From mother.
So I noticed today, that meeting was so much, and then I read the email when I was coming over here, but I turned off my phone, so I can't tell you. But from what I remember, it said, you know, real nice, wasn't a mean email. It just said, I just thought of something. Can I shoot you an email and run it by you?
From your mentoree?
Right. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, this is not the arrangement I want. I want a set-aside time, put all your issues together, and we'll meet once a week, and we'll review it. I don't want to be scattered and having to respond. So what do I write to this person? What do I say to this person?
What you just said. You just said it. Listen, the way that we have to deal with this is to write down all the things you wish to do and bring it to our next meeting. Because I am not always available to respond to you.
Right. And you know what that feels like to me?
You're a bad girl.
Feels like I'm...
You have a watch?
Not being kind.
You have a watch?
Yeah.
I want you to tap it twice. That's for time one, time two in your life. That's when you're having a feeling and it's contradicting the feeling you don't want to answer an immediate email. And you're getting a bad feeling about saying that. I want you to tap your watch. You have a conflict between what you thought you were if you don't answer your mother immediately, who never used the information anyway, and what you are. Today's issue is when someone's asking for that same thing, and if you don't answer, because that's what you really want to do, like save it all together and bring it to the meeting. Nothing wrong with that. But you feel bad from yesterday, from time one, because this is your mother and you're a kid. And that feeling is coming up from time one.
I feel like I'm not, being appropriate, kindly responsive, to their urgency.
Like you were as a kid.
Right.
You're helping mommy. But you have to distinguish between your life today and this person isn't your mommy. And you're not a bad girl for not having.
Weird.
But this wasn't because of a lack of your preparation.
No. It never occurred to me that someone might ask a question and really
for
have
different
a different
reasons.
Agenda.
Yeah. Well, they just, sometimes
That's
people feel,
startling.
I want to sound like I'm involved, and I'll ask a question, and someone will go off running and do the work like you, and then they're not really interested, so I want to sound good. And I have a different agenda. Okay, so we're going to meet again. You work on that. You're a bright gal. You're going to be able to do this.
I don't know.
Oh, listen.
I've been doing this stupid way for a long time.
It's not stupid. We're just not taught that kind of stuff. Nobody teaches us. You're aware of it. You'll learn from it. That's a wonderful question you asked. I hope that I answered it.
You did. You
Good.
did. It was very helpful just looking at it in
and
a
you
different
think about
way.
it. Okay. We'll see you next week, right?
Okay.
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 Barbara, it's been a pleasure. You're a very responsible and smart lady. You're going to get this stuff. Okay?
I hope so.
You bet. And now, that's not Barbara. That's Sue Friedman. Sue,
Crack me up.
how do you you do this show with no rehearsal, no editing, no nothing?
Because you have taught me how to learn about myself and how to learn how to be human.
And because you're a very good therapist.
Oh, thank you.
You're a very good therapist in
enjoy
Bridgewater.
learning about myself and about others.
That's right. And she's a very good therapist, so she knows this stuff very well. It's a pleasure.
Always
Thank
a
you
pleasure,
so
Dr.
much.
Klein.
That was a great show. I want you to know that your thoughts and issues are very important. And if you want to call me or email me, we'll do a show on some of the questions you have, and we'll be delighted to do that. So all the information is on the screen. I can give it to you here, but my cameraman, Kaz Beelan, my wonderful cameraman, has told me, because he wrote my website, or he set one up for me, it's called drjinnyklein.com. That's my website. And so I want to thank Kaz for all his wonderful work and his technical ability, for doing this show for 459 of them. Anyway, you take real good to yourself. Just be good to yourself and take care. Bye-bye.
Dr. Jenny Klein would love to hear from you. Email her, jennyklein@gmail.com, or give her a call at 908-722-2933. If you'd like to see more, feel free. Just go to drjennyklein.com.